There we go. Okay, we are here. It is Sunday, May 18th. We're here for another live, and we're a little bit early today with you guys, 2 o'clock Eastern time. I have a family engagement a little bit later today, so I thought I would come to you live earlier so that I could talk about this most important topic, and it is allergy season. I'm pretty sure that wherever you are, whoever you are you're either dealing with allergies, spring allergies, or you know someone who's dealing with spring allergies. So with, hey, Silly Lily, welcome in, my dear. Good to see you. And so it's really important that we talk about spring allergies, what they are, why it affects us, why does it affect some people and not others? What happens when you reach for antihistamines and the over-the-counter corticosteroids, the Flonas's, and when you're trying to manage your symptoms with over-the-counter medications? How is that affecting you? Does it make allergies better or worse? And what should you / could you be doing instead of taking those over-the-counter medications to support your body? So morning, Shawnee, or good afternoon, I should say. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. And so we are streaming today. So I am on both of my Facebook pages, LinkedIn, as well as my YouTube channel. And then we're also streaming to It's All About the Biology with Ken Somerville. And so if you are new to me through Ken's channel or through any of my channels, welcome in. If you are here as one of our weekly fans, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And so if you're here new or not new, make sure you leave a message, hit that like button, subscribe to any and all the channels so that we can continue to grow. One of the things that Ken and I had talked about is that the messages that we're all talking about on our channels, they're just so integral to each other. So we're talking about the same things a little bit differently. And so when you can have different approaches, different ways of people talking about health and wellness, someone somewhere along the way is going to hear it with a different ear. So we just want to get as much information out to the world on what you should be doing to support your body, not pollute it with drugs and chemicals. How do you avoid those kinds of things? And what's the overall long-term damage it's actually doing to you? So our goal really is to just help get people well naturally. VA Green Friend, Fiend, I think you said, my youngest has bad allergies. Can't wait to help how I can help him naturally. Wonderful. So I'm so glad you're here. And especially with young kids, allergies are just so rampant with these young kids today as well. And the problem is that medical doctors do not know how to help you. So you have to come to places like this to get proper information. And that's really unfortunate that, it's fortunate in the sense that the information is out there. What's unfortunate is that many people don't know how to find this information. So again, that's why please share this, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment. That really helps these shows to get spread across the internet. And so I am going to be talking about some natural ways to help you, your family, maintain, grow your health, improve your immune system. We're going to talk about that a little bit more towards the end of the show, because what I need to talk to you about is what you're taking in the meantime that's actually causing damage, because you have to understand the level of damage that's taking place when you go to the over-the-counters, and then we need to talk about how do we rebuild from there. So stay tuned, because we're going to get into all the good stuff and everything that will support your body. My allergy meds is vitamin C, quercetin, bromelain, olive leaf, silverwater, elderberry, nasal spray, and nettle tincture. Sounds like Shawnee should be up here doing a little guest shot for us. So, because that's all great. Love that combination. That's a lot what's in my cabinet as well. So, yes. So that's, my patients are coming in and they're all like, they go straight for the box of Kleenex. And it's really unfortunate that we have more people who have allergies than not today. And I say that not necessarily I don't have the data to back that, so I shouldn't say things like that. However, being in practice 27 years, I see trends. And trends in my clientele is that everybody's got some kind of allergy, whether it's an environmental allergy, a food allergy, something going on with the pollen. And so one of the things that I'm going to talk to you all today also about is how food allergies impact your environmental allergies. So that's really a key player as well. So, with that being said, let's get into it. What I wanted to do is start with what we commonly do. So, and I say we and say most people. So that would be we, not me. It sounds like we, not Shawnee. Do typically is go for the over-the-counter. So Claritin, Zyrtec, Flonase, those are the big ones. Sudafed, if even Sudafed's still available, I think so. So we can walk into a store at any point in time and we can purchase these drugs. And just because we can walk in and we can purchase them without a prescription, we have the false sense of security that they're safe. But if you really understand what they're doing to your body and how they're damaging it, it'll start to make sense to you that, and when you go, you won't even want to walk down that aisle. You will have zero desire, at least that's my hope, of putting these things into your system. So the first thing that most of these medications deplete or block is glutathione. Now, what is glutathione? Glutathione is, I call it the mother of all antioxidants. And it really helps with brain regulation and it helps with immune function. And glutathione is critical to just about everything in our body. It's somewhat of our bodies can produce some of it, but the problem with glutathione is that when you are taking certain medications like those over the counters, in fact, most medications that you take over the counter, regardless of if they're allergy related or not, are either depleting you of the building blocks for glutathione, or they're blocking absorption of the building blocks. So what does that mean? We need to build a structure. We're going to build the penthouse. Glutathione is the penthouse, and we need to build all the floors, and we need to build in the structure and everything below it so that the structure is strong and stable and that we can get to the penthouse. That's glutathione. We've got to get to the penthouse. But if we don't have the proper stairs and if the elevators don't work properly and if the structure is wobbly, we cannot get up to the penthouse. So this is what glutathione is for us, is we have to be able to get there. So these medications are going to deplete your B vitamins, your folic acid, your magnesium, your zinc, all of the building blocks required for glutathione to be created within your brain, within your cells, so that everything else can function. Now, antioxidants, when you start to look at why do we have allergies, why do we have certain health issues, autoimmune issues, almost every chronic illness is a condition of low antioxidants and low nutrients. If you think about having, a healthy, like an apple, if we have a fresh apple, there's no bugs on it, there's no maggots on it. But if that apple starts to degrade, we cut it in half and we set it outside and we just start to let it rot. Now the ants come in, the bugs, the maggots, all of the other bugs come in. This is very similar to how your body works. If you don't have the proper building blocks, if things aren't healthy, we get bad bugs growing in the gut. We get poor quality metabolic function throughout the body. We can't think clearly. Inflammation starts to form. And then we have to try to backtrack and figure out, how do we rebuild that foundation to get to the penthouse? Now, many people don't understand that when you, let's just say Zyrtec, Claritin, Flonase, so let's keep it to the allergy medication. When you take that, it actually, so you're taking that to help your sinuses, let's say. But did you also know that because it depletes glutathione, or depletes the building blocks to create glutathione, that also feeds into anxiety, depression. It depletes melatonin. You guys know what melatonin is for? It helps your sleep patterns. So you can be creating anxiety and depression, bipolar disorder, people who have any kind of mental health issue. When you're taking these medications all the time, you will see a direct correlation with those types of, with taking the medication and seeing mental health and mood disorders. I see this in patients who they come in and even, oh my gosh, I have a patient that I'm working with right now, and she's like mid 50s, and she's just, her anxiety is through the roof. She can't leave the house some days. She worries constantly. She's on a multitude of medications that no one should be on, let alone a woman at 55 years old. And it's affecting her hormones. Her menopause is ridiculous. She can't sleep. When she's awake during the day, she doesn't feel refreshed. So if this sounds like you, leave a comment. Just let me know. Yep, that sounds like me. Or somebody you know. So we have to get ourselves out of the whole, I have a symptom, so I'll take a pill for the symptom. We have got to get out of that hamster wheel, because you're taking a pill for your sinuses to dry up your sinuses, but then it's also causing all kinds of metabolic dysfunction in other areas of your body. Now, also from a chiropractic perspective, we talked about this on Chiropractic is Sexy last Thursday, and we discussed how when you start to take substances that cause you to dry up, it dries up your spinal discs, it dries up your tendons, your ligaments, it dries up your bones. It literally depletes moisture from vital areas in your body that you need moisture there to function. Your cells, your cellular function, that's how you get the messaging, your DNA. It's how all of your hormones get produced. Your cells need water fluid to function. If they're dried up like a raisin, they should be like a plump grape. If they're dried up like a raisin, things are not going to function as well. So, just read a couple of comments here. So Silly Lily says, allergies are various conditions caused by hypersensitivity of the immune system to typically harmless substance in the environment. And so that comment is really spot on. So that's the whole, like, well, why in certain families, some family members have really bad allergies and some don't. So some people just have stronger immune systems than others. Some can take more, I guess, insults, if you will, to the body. So, some bodies are more resilient than others. Some bodies are more reactive than others. And this is where we get into not necessarily genetics, but we call it epigenetics. So what is the environment that we are putting your genetics into that is causing the genetic expression? Okay. So you can be in an environment that helps, that creates a positive genetic expression, meaning good things happen. You could be doing all kinds of crazy things to your body that are not healthy. And then you're going to start turning on the genes that are going to cause disease. So, and some people can last a little bit longer in the toxic soup than others. So Silly Lily says, I didn't know about that connection. It's why I watched this podcast. Thank you so much. And Dr. Paula shares some great information. And that is really the goal, is to try to bring you the information that you don't know and that you don't hear about on other channels. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Nice to see you in here. It's been a while. OMG, that makes sense. Never thought of that. You take a product to dry up allergic symptoms and it dries up fluids in the body. So yeah, and let's just talk about, now men, you can go like this, you can cover your ears, but women going through menopause with vaginal dryness. Again, I see so many women who are on these antihistamines drying this up. What is happening to the vaginal tissue? You are drying that up even more. It doesn't need you to be helping it do that, because we're losing our estrogen, and that is going to cause atrophy of the tissues in your most private and vital parts. And it's going to cause drying of that as well. So women, I mean, this is like, to me, this is kind of a no-brainer. If you're having any kind of vaginal issues through menopause, like cut that out. That's a zero tolerance. No, I want things down there to be feeling wonderful. So, yeah, so we want to really start to think about what is actually happening when we take these things. Now I'm going to go through, let's see, this is the glutathione. So so I just have a couple of notes on some different tabs. So I'm going to pop through here a little bit just to give you a little bit more insight. So corticosteroids and antihistamines. So steroids are prednisone, which is what most people think about, but also a lot of people do breathing treatments, so nebulizers, and they don't even know that that's a steroid. Now, anytime anybody does a breathing treatment, that's typically a steroid, unless you're working with like a holistic doc. I know we nebulize hydrogen peroxide here, and there are some medical doctors. You can go to, I think it's First Line Doctors. I forget, First Line Doctors, America's First Line Doctors, something like that. And they will have that type of information on there. I don't know the formulations offhand, nor would I recommend those, meaning we do it for our family. So let's just say my license does not offer me the ability to tell you what formula you should take. If you find it and you find it helpful, then great. But most of the time people don't understand that when they're doing a breathing treatment, they are taking a steroid. Heck, people don't even understand when they go in and they get an injection into a knee or an elbow or a shoulder or whatever. Yeah, I went to the doctor, I got an injection. And I will always ask, what was it? And they'll say, I don't know. They don't know. They don't even ask. I know that it was a steroid, but I want people to understand you have to know what's going in your body and what the effect is of that. So let's see, let me go back here. Lily says glutathione is a powerful antioxidant, can play a role in managing allergy symptoms. Oh, did I read that already? Reducing inflammation, strengthening the immune system, detoxifying allergens. Okay, it's worth another mention. And then let's see, okay, all right, I'm pretty much caught up. And Tammy says, I just had to do all those for pneumonia. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, if you have something severe, like pneumonia, bronchitis can be very, frightening as well. You've got to go the medical route. My daughter had, she had pneumonia. I can't remember, she had bronchitis along with it just a few months ago. It was over the winter. And I think she ended up on an antibiotic for 2 days, a day, maybe. I don't even know if she took it, because I also had her nebulizing the hydrogen peroxide. But, I said, you got to go in, you've got to get checked. We got to make sure this is nothing serious. You have to go and make sure that whatever it is that you have is not something life-threatening and serious, and that it doesn't necessarily need medication. The problem is you've got to be able to ask the questions that if it does require medication, then what medication is it? and what is the damaging effects of that medication. There are many times, and I'll give you this heads up, is that when you go into the medical doctor to have, let's say it's a sinus infection, because this is really common, and let's say it's viral, because they can test for this, and oftentimes they won't test for it, but then they'll say, well, we're going to give you an antibiotic in case, to make sure it doesn't turn into a bacterial infection. Now viruses are viruses and bacteria is bacteria, and one does not turn into the other. So the question should be, let's test it. If it's viral, what can I do to support my body through the virus? And then the other question that I often ask is, okay, I'm going to do, and these are conversations that I have with my medical doctor. I never have to go to the medical doctor, but we'll just say, should I ever have to see a medical doctor? And I tell my daughter to ask these questions as well. Like when she had to go in a few months ago, I have these conversations with the veterinarian. When I have to take the dog in, what are we looking at? Here's what I would like to do holistically. What is your comfort zone with what you see right now? And if I do what I start to do and it doesn't get better, how much time are you comfortable giving me to be able to implement natural solutions? If my way works, great. If not, I'll be back here in how many days? And they might say 3 days, 5 days, a week. So there's always, if you can have those kinds of conversations, just say, what are you comfortable with me doing on my own? How much longer are you comfortable with me waiting? And they'll typically, at least the doctors that I've worked with will typically give you an honest answer and say, I think you've got a little time on this. Now my daughter also had a spider bite a couple of months ago, and that started to actually became a giant sore on her leg. I think it hit her when she was sleeping or something. And I told her, I said, you need to go to the ER now. Because it was going quickly. That was they gave her an antibiotic, and that was her first antibiotic in her whole life of 20 years. So actually, she did not take the antibiotic back in the winter. Anyway, okay, so we're getting a little off topic, but we get started on medications and what it does to your body. Plant Daddy, hi, how are you? Going to watch this from the start tonight with my wife. Our daughter has terrible allergies and eczema. So eczema is typically food sensitivity and food allergies. So I'm going to get to the part where we're going to talk about how food sensitivities are related to your environmental allergies. So let me go back over here, and where is it? Find my right tab here. Sorry, guys. Okay. So antihistamines, they'll block histamine, but then again, they'll also block the uptake of certain nutrients. Your corticosteroids, so that's going to be Flonase, Nasonex, Nasocort. So these are over-the-counter steroids that you can buy. So again, a lot of people don't understand. They don't even recognize that they are steroids. It causes reduction in inflammation of the nasal passages. But again, also causes depletion of your B vitamins, your folic acid, your melatonin. Decongestants, helps relieve nasal congestion. That's going to be your Sudafed, and those types of things. And then there's also a lot of people who go to eye drops, antihistamines to relieve the itchy, watery eyes. But a lot of the oral medications you're taking can cause irritation to the eyes. So we start looking at what's causing what. Other medications that we might take are Singulair. And again, that's going to help to block a lot of that histamine response. And then Xolair is another common one that came up. Targeted IgE, which is an antibody involved in allergies. We'll typically see high IgE in food and environmental allergies. And then, okay, so that's typically the class. And All right. So when it comes to having, I'm gonna go straight to like low glutathione. So when we have low glutathione, one of the most powerful antioxidants that we can take to make glutathione is N-acetylcysteine. So this is one of my absolute favorites. Now, here's the thing, is that I'm going to go through a list of things that are going to be helpful for you, as well as then we're going to talk about what foods would be helpful that are going to cross-react with these environmental allergies. But what I love about N-acetylcysteine is, again, it's kind of like going as far upstream. So we still need the building blocks, and then we need to just make sure we're just getting the mac daddy of all of these good nutrients. So with N-acetylcysteine, now a little fun fact about NAC, we're going to call it, is that NAC was, I believe it was actually taken off the market for a minute during COVID, because it is so powerfully antiviral, it's an antihistamine, like it's so powerful for bacteria, for viruses, for illness, for immune function, that it was one of those, thank you, Silly Lily, is one of those things that was taken off the market because there could be no other available option for that virus if we wanted to get these injections fast-tracked into the arms of people. We killed people because they killed people because they pulled these types of nutrients off of the market. They shut down people like me who were trying to tell people that, hey, if you take this will help your immune function. So so it was really, really quite interesting, but it is available again. And you can go to, if you look in the show notes, you'll see a link to my Full Script store, and you can buy that on my Full Script store, and it's actually called Immune Active. And I can drop that in the show notes after the show as well. But Immune Active has N-acetylcysteine. It actually has quercetin in it, which we're going to talk about quercetin as well. And all of these things are going to help improve the building blocks of your body, to improve your immune function, to help your body function better in the face of this overly active immune system when it comes to our allergies. Okay, so it is, NAC is actually necessary to make and replenish our glutathione. And of course, I mentioned earlier, glutathione is the most important antioxidant in the body, and it helps to make all the other antioxidants in your system. And it helps support the body's natural immune system and toxin elimination processes. So again, if you're new here, if you're not new here, you've heard me talk about this before, but if you are new here, you haven't heard me talk about, which I've talked about extensively, about the toxic soup in which we live between our food, our water, the environment. And so we have got to be supporting our liver and our kidneys, our lungs, and all of those wonderful elimination organs that get rid of the toxins. I remember at one point I was, because I have I lived in a moldy house for a long time, I nebulized. So we talked about nebulizing. I nebulized glutathione for about a year, because if you can nebulize glutathione, it actually, getting it through the lung tissue is one of the most powerful ways to get glutathione into the system and actually to heal the lungs. So if you're somebody who's had like chronic allergies, asthma, pneumonia, bronchitis, any of that, that could be something you could talk to a holistic healthcare provider. You would have to get it through a compounding pharmacy. I am not able to prescribe those types of things, but that is what I did. And I highly recommend finding yourself somebody who might be able to prescribe that. That would be a medical doctor with a medical license who can prescribe that. So it's going to help those detoxification pathways. And I mentioned this earlier, is that N-acetylcysteine, because it actually helps to regulate the glutamate levels for that glutathione, it improves mental health disorders. It has even been shown to improve substance use disorders because it's helping to regulate brain activity. So what's important to really recognize here is that these over-the-counters, and then, Tylenol, Advil, even all of those are causing this depletion. So let's say you have chronic headaches and you take Tylenol or Advil, you're depleting the building blocks that you need glutathione for. Now allergy season comes, and now suddenly you have really bad allergies because you don't have the antioxidants to fight off all of these chemical processes going on in your body coming from the environment. So this is not exclusive to allergy season, but it's recognizing that everything you do throughout all the other months could potentially be contributing to your bad reactions during the allergy season. I'm going to finish scrolling through this, and then I'm going to come and read some of the comments. So I mentioned that it helps to relieve respiratory conditions. So that's what I did. I nebulized it. It helps to loosen up the mucus in your air passages. And again, it helps to replenish the glutathione levels in the lungs. And when you can do that, that decreases more inflammation. People with COPD have been shown to have a very positive benefit taking N-acetylcysteine. Chronic bronchitis. Let's see what else. Let me scroll down. People, again, cystic fibrosis, asthma, nasal and sinus congestion. It regulates glutamate, replenishing glutathione. The list is repeating a little bit here. It's been shown to help with Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's. So NAC is a wonderful, wonderful product or nutrient to help our brain, and who can't use a little bit of brain health. If we go back to my perimenopause and menopausal women, everyone feels like their brains have just left town. This is actually something that could be super beneficial. There's a study that's been shown that it improves fertility in men and women. And why? Because of the antioxidant levels. So the messaging is the same here, is that if we can improve antioxidant levels, we can improve so many other things in the body. Stabilizing blood sugar, because it decreases inflammation in the fat cells. It reduces risk of heart disease by preventing oxidative damage because it's increasing the antioxidants. So you can clearly see that NAC, this is why it is really, it's one of my favorites. I like to maximize things. I like to do what's going to give me the greatest benefit with the least amount of effort, whether it's, the food that I eat, the exercises that I do, the nutrients that I take. I'm always trying to maximize things or optimize things. All right, let me read some of your comments here. And let's see, Tammy says, they say everything is viral and won't give antibiotics. Took me a second trip in the ER to get antibiotics. Yeah, and sometimes you got to push them. Like, your body. So it's just as important to know your body and ask the right questions, that if they're trying to push medications on you, versus if you're like, I don't feel well, I need something, and they need to give you something. So there's so much fear of liability, and there's this thing called the standard of care, and doctors are they are required to do certain things, to give certain medications. Cholesterol is one of them. If your cholesterol is over 180, they are required by law under their license to give you or attempt to put you on a statin, a cholesterol lowering medication, which affects your brain and your muscles and all of that. And that is called their standard of care. They have to do it by their licensing. So you have to understand, like, when you're being given something and when you're not being given something. This is all based on particular liabilities and their standard of care. So yeah, if you don't feel well and you're like, I need something, then you got to push some for that too. Yes. So Lily, advocate for your own health and that of your pets. And I've had veterinarians that I've been very blessed to have good veterinarians. I had one or two that I knew that the information they were giving me was not great. I had a dog who was having difficulty urinating, and the vet, it was a vet that was filling in. She was like an intern or something at my normal vet. And she said, oh, he's fine. He's just not interested in cleaning himself anymore. And I'm like, I immediately somehow got my old doc on the phone, and he was like, bring him right in. And I took him in, and turned out he had a bladder full of stones. So, you have got to push. This poor dog had a physical blockage and couldn't pee, which could have killed him. Anyway, so yes, N-acetylcysteine. Yep, NAC. And I'll pull that product for you guys in a minute. Wide range of fruits, vegetables, sulfur-rich foods can ensure you're getting the necessary building blocks for glutathione production. Yes, absolutely. And does NAC affect HGH? There is, there's a connection there. I don't recall what the mechanism is, though. But it's a good question. And I know, like, certain foods will affect NAC and HGH as well. I actually came across an article when I was putting this together. It's funny you should ask, because I was like, oh, that's going to be, I'm really getting too deep if I go into HGH. So I can certainly go back to that later, but I don't have the information in front of me. ACV in the dog's drinking water, and 100% a couple little drops of ACV in their drinking water is spot on amazing for your dogs. Yep. Also dog allergies. I feel like I want to do a whole segment on dog allergies, because our poor pets, Silly Lily, I'm going to put you in charge of reminding me that we're going to do an episode on dog allergies, because our poor pets just get bastardized by their, the vets. They have there's 2 holistic vets that I know of near me. Both are 45 minutes in opposite directions, and they're impossible to get into. So we have to really be a good advocate. I have worked with so many of my patients, and they're helping them with their pets and their pets' allergies. I had a patient one time who, her dog had such bad skin allergies that her veterinarian said, bathe him in a mild bleach solution every week. And I was like, you're kidding me, right? What? I'm like, would you bathe your child or yourself in bleach? For real. Like, it's unacceptable. And I feel like that's the way it is also with our kids. So we have to be doing better. Okay, so now let's go into, I want to go into the other nutrients that I love. So we did our glutathione, our NAC. Just remember, that is the mother of all of them. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Sign in there. I don't know if I can do it that fast, and I don't want to take away from what I'm saying. So I will do, like I said, you can hit the link in the show notes, and that will put you over into my FullScript account. And if I see you signed up in there, then I can go ahead and I can send you the link to everything that I'm going to talk about as well. And I do have an immune package that I have over on FullScript as well, and I can definitely send you that. So, okay, so we talked about N-acetylcysteine. That product, immune active, it has NAC, it has quercetin, it has, let me see, let me pull it up so at least I can read it. active. There she is. Okay. Okay, so this has vitamin C, zinc, N-acetylcysteine, decaffeinated green tea, and this is from the leaf as well as some other parts of the plant. And so it's really high in the decaf green tea, which also is a super high antioxidant. This has 600 milligrams of NAC per 2 capsules. So even if you took one to two a day throughout allergy season, that would be amazing. And it's got 250 milligrams of quercetin, which is pretty high for quercetin. I've seen other products that are relatively low in quercetin. Come on. Sinuplex. There we go. Okay. And then I have another awesome product that I love. That has vitamin C, quercetin, stinging nettle, bromelain, and N-acetylcysteine. So we're combining a lot of these things, and this has 200 milligrams of quercetin in it. It's got 100 milligrams of stinging nettle. You can buy stinging nettle in tea. You can come to my backyard. I grow stinging nettle like a champ. In fact, I might still be a little scarred up from clearing the stinging nettle last week in my yard. But yeah, if you can go harvest it while it's young, you can make a tea out of it. I just buy it because I'm like, I can't stand, like, once it touches you, you just seem to burn for days. So I like to just get rid of it out of my yard and then buy it. Don't judge. Don't judge. Okay, so let me go back over here. So we know quercetin would be like the number 2, and then vitamin C is also a natural antihistamine, but vitamin C is a very potent antioxidant. So again, the messaging is get the antioxidant levels up. Quercetin actually helps to stabilize the mast cells, and the mast cells are what causes that histamine reaction. So I have patients who have chronic sinusitis, and I put them on quercetin or the immune active, and they do amazing, and they don't have to take the Claritin or the Zyrtec anymore, because also it's depleting them. And then I link what they're doing with the over-the-counters to all the other health issues they're having. Like, oh, I didn't even think of that. I'm like, I know. So I'm here to be the messenger. So I personally take 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day in a powder form. And, if I tell you 4,000 a day, you probably are going to find a pill that is going to be 1,000 per pill. And they're kind of horse pills because it's a large molecule. So again, the link that I'll drop later in the show notes is, or if you send me an email, it will have the powdered C in it, which is amazing because you can get a higher dose for very, optimize it for, your effect for very little. And with vitamin C, you do have to be careful, because if you don't take it, or if you take a small amount and then you try to build up to it, you can actually cause loose stools. So you want to be really careful. And that's one of the ways that you build up, is you kind of just build up slowly over a few days. And then once you get to that point where you start having loose stools, then you can start to back down on it a little bit. And okay, so then the next one we said was stinging nettle. So super high in natural antihistamines as well as bioflavonoids. So again, if you're gonna take stinging nettle, you can take it in a pill or a capsule form. You can take it in a tea form, and it's really excellent for if you're having all of that like sinusitis up here. If you press on your sinuses and you feel pain, like you're congested up here in your nasal cavities, that might be an opportunity to take the stinging nettle and the quercetin. Another nutrient that gets overlooked for allergies is omega-3 fatty acids. So the omega-3s actually help to down-regulate those inflammatory cytokines. So it's going to help to bring down the inflammatory process. Now, most of us are really high in omega-6s. That's going to be like your conventional meats, your highly processed foods, your poor quality oils. But omega-3s are going to come from your any and all fish. Try to have like wild salmon, sardines, chia seeds, good quality eggs with egg yolks. So the egg yolks have omega-3s in them. Flaxseed has omega-3, but the problem with flax and chia is that they have to convert to become omega-3. So they actually have to be, they need those cofactors, those building blocks, much like glutathione is the penthouse up there, and it needs all the building blocks to get there. Flaxseed, to get to omega-3, flaxseed is in the lobby, and flaxseed needs all the cofactors. It needs magnesium and calcium and zinc and all the other things to get up that escalator to get to the top floor to become omega-3. So if you're confident that you have all of your nutrients, you could take flaxseed. I should take that back. You can eat flaxseed. I'm not saying it's bad. What I am saying is don't rely on it as your source of omega-3 fatty acids, because most of us are pretty depleted anyway. And so if you have it, like you want to put it on salads, you want to put it in breads, or however you have, if you want to do chia powder, I don't care. Like you can eat it, that's fine. But it shouldn't be your primary source of omega-3 fatty acids. And then of course, good pre and probiotics. We saw Rebel Canners said she's taking her probiotics to offset what she had to take for pneumonia. And so that's smart. I would be very curious if, Tammy, if you did that on your own, or if, because I know you're pretty smart, I'm sort of guessing that you did that because you knew to do that versus the doctor telling you to do it. Most doctors will not tell you to take a probiotic, and most doctors will also not know, or they'll be like, oh, you'll be fine. But I will tell you this, when I prescribe probiotics, I have 20 different probiotics that I can prescribe for you based on what it is that you have going on. So if you've been on a antibiotic, you should be taking, it's called Saccharomyces or I always forget if it's Saccharomyces or Saccharomyces. Hold on, Saccharomyces boulardii. There you go. It's Saccharomyces boulardii. And this is what you want to be taking, because it will help to recolonate your gut, and it's very powerful. So you can take that particular probiotic if you're on an antibiotic. So oftentimes, if you're on an antibiotic and you still take your probiotics, if you take that probiotic with the antibiotic, you're just going to kill the probiotic. If you're taking the wrong probiotic, meaning some other form of some other strain that is going to be weak in relationship to the antibiotic, then that antibiotic will still find its way to kill the good probiotics. So Saccharomyces boulardii is the one that I recommend for people to take when they are on an antibiotic, because it will be strong and powerful, and it will preserve the good guys while preventing, while the antibiotic's getting rid of the bad guys. So there's a little strategy from that. Okay, let me see what kind of comments we have, and then I'll go back to the list. Love stinging nettle tea. Yeah, I love the way it tastes. And so I actually will make iced tea out of it. And another, it's not in my list, but I'm thinking of it right now, is, oh gosh, I can see it out there right now too. Chickweed. Here in Michigan, if you guys don't know what chickweed is, like it grows all over the place and people want to kill it. That is something that I will typically go out, and when it comes up fresh, I think it's kind of like a succulent. And I'll go and I'll pick that and throw it in a pot and make tea out of it. And then I turn it into iced tea. And chickweed is incredible for liver health, for kidney health. It's super high in antioxidants. There have been studies that said it helps with weight loss and appetite suppression. And so I love chickweed. I love the taste of it. It's kind of like grassy, but a little nutty. And then I'll put like a little maple syrup in it, along with a little bit of orange blossom water, and it makes a wonderful iced tea. So, hi, Rory Gardner. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And let's see. Stinging nettle is better than a lot of other things. Yes. And dandelion. Yeah, you can't forget dandelion. I mean, dandelion's amazing. I have so many dandelions, but they're so spread out, so I don't go and harvest them, but I should. I usually just buy the organic dandelion. Like, I just let somebody else do the work. I know it's in my backyard. You guys are gonna like, just go pick it. Consider taking L-reuteri yogurt for balancing gut after taking antibacterial meds. So, I'll make a quick comment on this, Lily. I know you and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm seeing a lot of this particular strain for gut. And yes, there is a lot of data around that particular strain. At least I haven't found the data yet. I hate when people say, I haven't seen the data. So, because there's so much information out there. So if somebody says to you, definitively, I have yet to see the blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know everything. There's so much information out there. And so I'm not going to claim like hard line in the sand for anything. Well, there might be a couple of things, but anyway, so I'm still trying to find information on that particular strain and as it relates to antibiotics. So I do know that what I know is supported by the Saccharomyces boulardii has very strong evidence behind it after taking antibiotics. So that's just kind of where I land on that. And not saying that's bad. I just don't know all the information yet. So, but it's great because for whatever reason, because we're talking about it, it keeps coming up in my feed. And so it's begging me to go research it. So thank you for bringing that up. But I mean, yeah, have at it. I mean, I just made a fresh batch of yogurt. I make a fresh batch of yogurt every week. And my yogurt is higher in like acidophilus and bifido and all of that good stuff. You can buy the different strains and, it's pretty easy to make. Okay. So our prebiotics, our probiotics. So the prebiotics, that's going to be like your fermented foods, sauerkraut. I always just think of sauerkraut as fermented foods. What else? Apple cider vinegar, anything that's good. And then the dandelion, and the bitter greens. So I love endive, frisee, cilantro, like the bitter greens and those really hearty greens. Those are all prebiotics. So it's the food that feeds the microbes. So it's their food that they want to live on. Keep in mind that your good bacteria also, the bad bacteria loves sugar. So that would be bad bacteria, candida. That would be all those molds and yeast sitting in there. So if you're somebody who's addicted to sugar, you've got to cut the sugars out for sure. And then of course your probiotics are we can't go wrong with that. We need them to survive. So you could do yogurt, kefir, that's where too, you could put like chicory root fiber, inulin. You could put that into your probiotics as well, because inulin is a prebiotic as well, and that can be beneficial. Just don't have yogurt that is loaded up with all kinds of garbage. That's a whole different video, probably on my channel already. The nasal rinses. All right. I have 3 more to go, and then I'm going to talk about the foods and the cross reactions. Gosh, we're coming up to 3 o'clock. So we'll go over a little bit. If you guys don't have anywhere to go, I don't have to be at my dinner till 4. So I've got a little extra time here to devote to this. So nasal rinses, neti pots. You guys personally, I can't do it. I know I tell my patients to do it, but I have to be real with you. I just personally can't do it. So I am in envy of everyone out there who can do a neti pot. I will recommend that you do the neti pot, but I'm not coming along with you. I just can't. I've tried it. I think I've had water up my nose too many times as a kid, like jumping in a pool, and it just makes me panic. So if you can do a neti pot, more power to you. The other thing is lymphatic drainage. So lymphatic massage. I'm going to record this video just talking specifically about lymphatic drainage, clearing out your sinuses, and helping to get the lymphatic system moving again. Your lymphatic system is like the garbage disposal of your body. So we have to rely on the garbage disposal to get rid of all of the junk. And I should probably ask Ken, you don't have a show in 4 minutes, do you?
Nope. Okay. We're all good. Just keep going.
Okay, great. All right, thanks. I was like, oh wait, I don't have to be anywhere, but maybe you do. So, all right. We won't be too much longer, but this is important. I want to get all this out here too. So, so watch for, that'll be a video that I might actually even record that tonight for tomorrow's Reset Monday, because it's allergy season and we've got to get you guys as many natural sources of relief as possible. So let's see, other phytonutrients would be bromelain. So bromelain is an enzyme. And again, it helps with the swelling of the mucous membranes from all that irritation. And it can help to break down the mucus and get rid of it. And then the green tea. So we talked about the green tea that's in one of my other supplements. And that helps, again, to down-regulate histamine. So again, you can drink green tea every day, turn it into iced tea. You can take a supplement that has it in it. But I mean, who doesn't love green tea? My daughter's a matcha girl. She makes a matcha green tea every single day. She said it makes her brain feel like bright and she can think more clearly. It doesn't give her a buzz like caffeine does, like from coffee. So I would recommend drinking green tea every day, if not also then taking a supplement during this season. Other therapies. So vitamin D, we've got to get our vitamin D levels up. We are depleted. It's been winter time. And I know that your first inclination is to want to slather up and get outside on these warmer days. So you have got to get vitamin D exposure without slathering the chemicals on you. Even if you're using a natural sunscreen, you're still blocking your body's ability to make vitamin D. And it's really important that if you can get vitamin D naturally from the sun, because there's multiple forms of vitamin D. So getting it naturally from the sun is really your best way. So get out, get that exposure. If you need to go out earlier in the day or later in the day, that's great. Even at high noon, but just go out for a shorter period of time, but you have to get that exposure to get the vitamin D levels. From a chiropractic perspective, I would be remiss if I didn't mention chiropractic as a natural way to help with allergies. So we talked about all those ways that we needed to increase the immune system so that it doesn't go into hyperdrive. So I know that's sort of like how do we say this? So the immune system's in hyperdrive, which is why we get allergies. So chiropractic actually helps to regulate, that's a better word, regulate what's happening in the immune system. If it's not low enough, it helps to regulate it to come back to baseline. If it's too high, it helps to regulate it to be at baseline. So chiropractic care is about optimizing your immune function. Now, there's a couple of things that happen there. When you get a chiropractic adjustment, it actually increases T cell production, which helps with the immune system. It actually takes your body from fight or flight into parasympathetic state, which is your rest, digest, and repair. Yes, repair. So chiropractic will help metabolically, and it also helps because when you start to adjust this upper part of the spine, if the sinuses are congested, everything's clogged, it can't get out. So when you get an adjustment, especially on that upper cervical, it actually will automatically start to drain the sinuses. And then there's some sinus adjustments that I do on my patients and some little tricks that I show you on how to get your sinuses cleared out yourself, along with that lymphatic drainage. But if you aren't seeing a chiropractor and you have chronic sinusitis, and chronic allergies, and especially with young kids, ear canals, they actually form like this. They're like this. So a lot of babies end up getting ear infections is because their eustachian tubes are growing like this. And as we get older, as we grow, then they grow down for drainage. So a lot of babies end up with ear infections because we don't have the drainage. Chiropractic adjustments help that drainage. So I highly recommend that you find yourself a chiropractor. If you are not within my sphere of locale, then please reach out to me. I have a pretty broad network of people across the United States and even in Canada that I could probably find somebody for you. So, okay. All right. Whew. We're on to the last thing. Are you guys ready? Now, this is when I started doing food allergy and food sensitivity testing years ago. This blew me away. How can I possibly be allergic to a tree, but the food I eat makes my allergy to that tree worse? You tracking with me right now? So oftentimes what happens during allergy season, if you already have a food sensitivity or a food allergy, then it potentially, if it cross reacts with certain allergens, pollens, whatever in the environment, if they're similar and let's say you eat bananas every single day, and now it comes allergy season. But let's say you have a sensitivity to bananas and you don't really know it. But then now the pollen starts to fly and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, my allergies are really bad this year. And you've been putting a whole banana in your smoothie. People love to put a whole banana in their smoothie. Just stop that nonsense right now. Why? Because the sugar content is so high. I saw Dr. Oz promoting some gut health thing. He tends to put people on his show that I just go, oh my God, what are you doing? And this woman made everyone should be doing this morning smoothie. And it was bananas, honey, berries. It was packed with, there had to be 1,000 calories in this thing. I promise you, if you continue to drive your blood sugar, all of this inflammation is going to continue to keep you into this state of allergies are bad. And then you're going to run to the store, you can get the medications and all of that. So you have got to really put that microscope on what you're eating. Get rid of those processed foods, get more protein, more veggie heavy, really minimize your grains. Grains will really expand the inflammation, and then we can start to get the inflammation down so your body's not on overdrive. So VA Green Friend. Yes. I'm like, I love bananas, but I'm like, when did eating a whole banana every day, like, become a thing for everybody multiple times a day? I mean, I know they're great in potassium and all that. I don't want to demonize bananas. They're relatively healthy, but not when you have blood sugar and inflammation issues. All right. So let's say you have a ragweed allergy. So raise your hand if it's ragweeds. You could tell me in the chat, what is it that you are, what's your primary environmental allergy? But let's just go with ragweed right now. So with ragweed, if you have really bad ragweed allergies, the number one thing that cross-reacts the food is bananas. There it is. There it is. Bananas, cucumbers, melon, zucchini, chamomile, sunflower seeds. So that is ragweed. So again, looking at what is it in, hold on, I've got another chart over here. So yeah, what is it that you're eating every single day that is causing the allergies to worsen? I just realized this chart in front of me is not as good as the one I have over on this computer. So give me 1 sec to pull this up, because it's really interesting when you start to look at, oh my goodness, like I had no idea that if I ate spaghetti. Let's see, where is, go back here, go to cross reactivity chart. There she is. Okay. Oh, of course, wants me to get into my, let me get this rolling here, and then I will. Well, dang it. It won't pull up. Let's go here. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's what I want right there. All right. Give it a minute. Okay. So another one is just grasses. So what kind of grasses? Usually that's it could be any of the grasses, really. And you can find these charts. This is the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. And so things that, like in springtime, the birch we've got a lot of birch around here, but cross reactions here would be apple, apricot, cherry, peach, pear, plum, kiwi, carrot, celery, parsley, and then legumes would be peanut, soybean, almond, and hazelnut. And, a lot of people have peanut allergies as well. So then they have a big response to what's actually happening in the springtime. And then this one doesn't have what I want to show you, or actually, gosh, Ken, I should have sent this to you, because you could have pulled this up for me, because I can't pull stuff up on the computer that I work on. If you want this chart, you guys, just send me an email, and I'll drop my email address in there in a second.
If you can put the link into the private chat, I can pull it up.
I can't even open my documents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I can do though? Here, you know what? I'll email this to you real quick.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. And then I just don't want to take too much time trying to do this stuff here. So yeah, that's the problem, is it's my poor computer is sort of limping through life right now. So
well, I was going to say I'm allergic to my wife, but I can't get rid of her.
She's probably saying the same thing about you.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Let's see, Ken. There we go. Ken. Gmail, okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cross reactivity. Let's just go ahead and see if that'll pop up here. If it'll make my life easy. There we go. Okay. This would be great. Okay, cool. Okay. Coming on over, Ken. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Once I have it, I'll bring it up.
Perfect. Okay, cool. All right. So so this is going to be really cool. This is kind of a game changer, especially like when you have kids, because kids tend to love certain foods and then they're allergic to the foods and then they're allergic to the environmental insults as well. So paying attention to this is really key. And then, like I say, if you want a copy of this chart, just go ahead and send me an email and I will, let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Ken. I'm going to drop my email here so I can email this to you. Okay, so now you can see this is a little more comprehensive because it has the grains on here too. So any and all grasses, so legumes and beans, peas, apples. Again, what kids don't eat apples? Like they love apples. Celery grains, that's all grains. Grains can be very inflammatory as well. And grains are a grass. So, so you have to consider that if like rice is actually considered, I think, a grass. But either way, if you just look at this and you kind of go, oh my gosh, I eat an apple every single day and my allergies are terrible. And there's with the ragweed, you've got milk. So I would go beyond milk and go dairy. Probably you might be okay with yogurt, but you also want to be mindful because if you have a dairy allergy or a sensitivity, then that could be affecting your ragweed allergy as well. Eggs, what tends to happen with eggs is if you can get a hold of duck eggs are very different genetically. This has been explained to me because I specifically asked this question years ago. I was like, because I was told, well, if your patient is allergic to eggs or sensitive to eggs, chicken eggs, they can have duck eggs. And I'm like, why? It's all poultry. Anyway, yes, you can have duck eggs. I don't remember the mechanism of why, but they are just different enough genetically that they don't tend to cause allergies or sensitivities. So there, again, you can see trees, the birch, the alder, see like what is flying in your area. Sumac tends to come in here a little bit later in the year. So you can see pork, pork is on here a lot, and pork tends to have a lot of chemicals sprayed on it as well. There's our bananas again, or apples, apples are pretty much everywhere. And then of course, molds and fungal spores, yeast, mushrooms, hard cheeses, coffee, making sure your coffee is clean. Many coffees are very moldy. They pick the beans sit, they're moist, and then they get moldy, and then they take them and they roast them. So they roast the mold right onto the bean. Cocoa beans are the same way. So you want to always make sure that you're looking for low moisture, mold-free sources of anything that comes in a bean. And that also would go for like the legumes too. So, there's your latex allergy. A lot of people have latex allergies, and then of course dust mites, which are going to come mostly from your home. Shellfish, mollusks, crustaceans, and a lot of people know when they have a shellfish allergy as well. And then this just breaks it down a little bit more into the grains, which is, super interesting to me. So you can look and see, you kind of put yourself into a little bit of a bucket here and see yourself in which category. So like if it said grains up above, then this is going to build that out for you. Which grains are we talking about? Kind of looks like all of them to me. And then potatoes, beans, peas. Personally, I feel like most grains tend to be allergenic. I've had patients that I've worked with that I just take them off grains. I'm like, just go off grains for 2 weeks. And they immediately, their bloating goes down, the inflammation goes down. They wake up in the morning like, oh my gosh, my hands aren't doing that anymore. They start to feel better. They have a little bit more energy. So grains can be very inflammatory. So I think it's just good to be mindful of how much you're taking in on those grains. So let me go over here and see if we've got any questions. Let's see. Allergy strengthens the intestinal barrier, preventing the translocation of bacteria in the bloodstream. Yep. But again, how it does strengthen the intestinal barrier, but how well does it stack up against antibiotics? Thanks for putting that up there, Ken. That's the question. Is I need to find that information. Soursop. I still can't get over the vet saying use bleach. I know it's crazy out there, isn't it? Yeah. Give me a mango. I do love mangoes. They're so high in sugar. So I just kind of, I kind of just watch my intake. But when they're on sale, oh my gosh, they're so good. They freeze really well too. So you can slice them and freeze them and, pull them out, have a few bites. So grass and tree pollen. So Rory Gardner, that would be a good chart for you to have as well. Brazilian nuts is great as well. So Brazil nuts are like, what are they like? The highest in selenium, I think. So excellent for brain health, men, prostate health, testicular health, excellent to be taking Brazil nuts. And let's see. What else we got? Let's see. We had a friend over. They ate chocolate with Brazil nut. Their throat closed immediately. Oh my God. Oh no. Yeah, I guess you got to kind of know that too, right? So yes, you can become allergic to anything at any time. I mean, the body's just really interesting. Good for thyroid health as well. Yeah, because that selenium, oh my gosh. We're low in selenium, we're low in zinc, we're low in iron, all those things. Dairy milk versus goat milk, low in lactose. And goat's milk has it's a smaller protein. It's a smaller dairy protein. So people can tend to tolerate it and digest it a little better too. We have a woman here, she's a breeder. She just had a litter of German Shepherds. And she they're like 3 weeks old maybe. And she just put a video up and she puts them, obviously nursing from the mother, and then gives them goat's milk and then starts them on a raw diet. So these babies she has really healthy dogs. Not more than 1 to 2 Brazil nuts are high in selenium and too much can be toxic. Yeah. That's why they say like 1 to 2 a day for men. So yeah. Okay, let me go back to my notes. I think that might be most everything. So one of the things that I would recommend as well is making sure that you're looking at, so first of all, are you someone who takes anything over the counter? Like anything, you guys, I'm not just talking about allergy medication, because anything over the counter, even, are people still doing the aspirin a day thing? I feel like, that was such a thing for so long, and that I just feel like it didn't die, and that people were like telling their friends you should take an aspirin a day for cardiac health. Totally false. It was just a marketing campaign from Bayer. So anything from even birth control, which is so depleting of so many key nutrients, anything, high blood pressure medication, thyroid medication, anything over the counter, again, if it's an aspirin, if it's an antihistamine, if it's whatever, like start to look at, what are you taking? Are you taking anything that is not a supplement, that does not have nutrients in it, that is a medication of any kind, prescription or otherwise? That's where you need to just start looking and evaluating and saying, if it's over the counter and you're going off and you're buying it by yourself, on your own, start to evaluate, do I really need this? One of the most common over the counter supplements is the acid blockers. And that's a whole nother thing. So again, you're blocking your B12, you're blocking your calcium, you're blocking key nutrients that you need for your body to build the building blocks that we need to get glutathione, to get all of our other proper nutrients, so that we can then make sure that come allergy season, we're not struggling and we're not suffering. So that would be the first thing. Second thing is definitely look at dietary, do a cleanse. Ken, I know you're doing a cleanse. I don't know if you wanted that public knowledge, but you are, but that's great. You know, like do a spring cleanse. It's like spring cleaning for your body. Great idea. And so really look at your foods, clean that up, and then look at what nutrients can you add in that are going to naturally support you, your immune system, your gut health. If you have certain things that you just can't seem to get over. So again, if you've got acid reflux and you're like, I don't know how to get off of this, you should not, if you've been on an acid blocker for a long time, do not stop taking that immediately. You'll get a rebound effect and you'll tell yourself, well, I have to be on it because I have acid reflux so bad. What you've done is you've taught your stomach that it doesn't have to work. So you stop taking it, and now all of a sudden it goes haywire and it starts just flushing out acid. So there is a way to get off of acid blockers. You would just have to private message me for that, and I can help you do that. It's about a 9 to 12 week process. But it's those types of things that we have to get your body back to a self-healing state, so that when it's allergy season, your body is in a self-healing state and you're not feeling the effects of it. You know, again, like when certain pollens and things, my eyes, I think, might get a little itchy, but I don't typically have allergies. I don't really have, you know, they don't really bother me. And I want that for each and every one of you. I know so many of you struggle, you suffer through the season, and it's not fun. So I'm here to help. I hope that everything we talked about today was helpful. And if you know, we can also do allergy testing. So we can do food allergy, food sensitivity, environmental testing. We can do all of those things. Check your gut. If you're really looking to optimize your health, that is a great way to go, because then we know exactly what we need to be doing to clean up shop and to get your body more optimized with its nutrients. Like, what do we need to do? What fuel does your tank need? And how can we get your body doing what it needs to do? So, all right, with that, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate all of your engagement, and you know, just thank you so much for being a part of this show. And if you're here from It's All About the Biology, I thank you for tuning in and listening to me. And I will see you all tomorrow. Go watch Reset Monday, because I'm going to talk about that lymphatic drainage. And then we'll see you for Chiropractic is Sexy. And then on Thursday, and then actually, no, we have to take a week off on Chiropractic is Sexy. I have to be down in Ohio that day, but I'll see you back here on Sunday. All right. Okay, you guys, that is it for me. I am out going to a family gathering. And so thank you for being here and being a part of it. And I wish you all the best of the rest of your Sunday. See y'all.